Up? How are you doing today? Welcome to the Create Your Impact podcast. My name is David Jaquetta. I am your host, as well as a business strategist and coach for millennial business owners and impact-driven leaders. And this podcast is really all about inspiring you to go after the life that you see for yourself, to build the confidence in yourself, to step into your purpose, and to go create your unique impact in the world. Because I believe that we're all here to impact the world in a special way. We all have this gift within us, and many of us, we struggle with the self-doubt because we don't believe that we're capable of achieving what we want to in our lives, or maybe we're just unsure how to do it. And so this is the place where you're going to learn how to do it. This is the place where you become a confident leader to go create your impact in the world. And I just wanted to say that I'm extremely grateful that you're taking the time out of your day to spend it here with me, because I know that we all have busy lives, and I don't take it lightly that you're taking the time out of your day. So I just wanted to say I appreciate you. Thank you for being here with me today. If you are listening to this episode, whether you're in your car, you're at the gym, you're going for a walk, whatever it may be, I want to let you know that I'm also on YouTube right now. So you can, watch me actually talk about this, and we can actually feel like we're having a conversation here together. So go check me out on YouTube. It's at David Jaquetta, but also you can just go over to my Instagram page and I will lead you to it over there. But let's get started today. We're going to be talking about the 5 tips for finding your reason of being in life, which is going to be your guide to fulfillment. And these 5 things are things that I actually have used in my life, and I have helped many other people use in their lives too. So these are things that I didn't just make up. These are things that I actually have used for years now, and I've coached people with for years as well too. And so these things are really going to be the thing that might help you if you're not too sure where you're trying to go right now. Maybe you're at this stage in your life where things are changing and you're looking for the next chapter, or maybe you're just trying to understand yourself more so you can keep going in the right direction that you're already going down. No matter where you're at, these 5 tips are really going to help you discover that reason of being and really help you keep moving forwards towards understanding yourself on a deeper level and working to create that impact in the world. And so let's dive into these things right away. The first tip that I want to talk about is ikigai. And ikigai is a Japanese term for reason of being. And my mentor 2 years ago, my business mentor, he was the one that introduced me to this concept, and it changed my life. Like, I was somebody who was really unmotivated and didn't really know what I wanted to do a few years ago. And I was starting to make progress in my life and understanding myself. But this was the thing that turbocharged everything for me. So that's why we're starting off with it at number 1, because I believe it's going to turbocharge everything for you too. So the reason of being and this thing called ikigai is built around 4 questions that you ask yourself. And these 4 questions are: what do I love? What am I good at? What can I be paid for? And what does the world need? And I really love these 4 questions because they get you to really understand yourself and come up with a very unique answer. Like, everybody's ikigai is going to be completely different because not everybody's good at the same things. Not everybody loves the same things. We all see the world in a completely different way, and we all have different ways of seeing how we can create money in our lives. And so the first 2 questions, what do you love and what are you good at? You're really understanding the things that you're truly good at. And I know a lot of people, when I ask them that question, they're like, oh, I'm not good at anything. And I don't believe that to be true at all. I know that you're good at a lot of things, and you're just not giving yourself the credit for it. So when you're asking yourself this question, give yourself the time to really think about the things that you're actually good at, because I know that you have a lot of value that you can add into the world, and you're good at a lot of things. But sometimes we don't take a second to really dive into that question, because some of us might see it as like pumping our own tires maybe, or like we don't want to seem like we're boosting ourselves up type thing. But when you start to understand what you're good at, you can really start to understand yourself on this completely different level. And it adds in this self-esteem aspect as well too. When you start to see that, hey, I'm actually good at a lot of things. And maybe they're just not the same things as what other people are good at. And that's totally okay. That's why this is all about understanding yourself as a unique individual. The next question is, what do you love? And there are a lot of things that bring you happiness and fulfillment in your life, and things that you absolutely love to do that I want you to start writing about. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, it's the things that you love to do. The next question is, what does the world actually need? And when you're thinking about this, we all see the world in a completely different way, with what the world actually needs today. And so when you're thinking about what you're good at and what you love to do and blending that with what the world needs, you start to see that, hey, maybe there's something that I can actually do to start, adding some purpose into my days that really help me feel like I'm contributing to the world. And lastly, if you want to connect it to making money, I do tell people that you don't always need to connect it to something you can be paid for. Like if you just want to be doing something for the pure joy and fulfillment behind it, go ahead. But if you want to be doing something that can also bring you money into your life as well too, it's a great next question to ask yourself, to really blend in the things that you love, that you're good at, and what the world actually needs into how you can create money into your life. Because we live in a world today that the opportunity for you to do absolutely whatever you want is the highest it's ever been. Like there's this book, if you're watching this, there's a book behind me called Crushing It by Gary Vee. And this book, it talks about the different ways that a lot of entrepreneurs make money. And there's this one that stood out to me. I always use this as an example. There's this girl, I have no idea how old she was. I think she was a teenager, but she had $1 million slime business. Like she literally would make slime at her house and sell it online, and it became this $1 million business. And so if that example doesn't let you see that you can make money literally doing anything in the world today, I don't know what else does. We are living in the most opportunistic time that could have ever existed. And so if you want to connect the thing that you love and that you're good at and what the world needs to something you can make money for, those 4 questions are really going to help you. I want you to write out every idea that you have that comes into your mind around those 4 questions. And then what you can do is look at the overlap in between, and that's going to give you this idea that you've maybe never seen before, or this next step that you can take for yourself. So take the time to discover your ikigai. That is tip number 1. Tip number 2 for finding your reason of being is understanding your values, morals, and beliefs. And this is something that is so crucial because nobody really takes the time to think about what their values are, what their morals are, and what their beliefs are. And what happens is we collect these things over the course of our life. And sometimes we might be carrying a belief that no longer serves us, or maybe we're valuing something that no longer serves us, or maybe the way that our morals are, they're not, aligning with who we're becoming, whatever it may be. So what tends to happen is as we grow up, and especially in high school and a little bit after that, we really blend our values, morals, and beliefs with the people that we surround ourselves with. And so we become a collection of everybody around us. And that's really how we shape our identity. And that's exactly what happened to me. Like in high school, I was almost like this chameleon type thing. I thought that I was being authentic, but what was really happening was I was changing who I was based on who I was around. And so when I want you to ask yourself this question, your values, morals, and beliefs, it's who are you when nobody else is around? Who are you when nobody else is around? And when you can get really clear on what your core values are, what you believe to be right and wrong, and what your beliefs are about the world, these are really going to help you make decisions moving forwards. This is going to be like your internal compass or your moral compass that you can carry with yourself that will guide you. And it's really going to be like a North Star in your life that you can use for a sense of direction into understanding how to align yourself with your true authentic self. And so I want you to take the time right now, pause me if you need to, write out what your values, morals, and beliefs are. What are your 5 to 10 core values that you hold? The person that you truly are. What do you value in your life? What do you believe your morals are? What do you think is right? And what do you think is wrong? And then what are your beliefs about the world? Do you believe in a higher power? Do you believe that the world is, created in a certain way? Do you believe that you can do whatever you want? Do you believe that, you can manifest things? What are the things that you actually believe in your life? And so take the time right now, values, morals, and beliefs. And those things are going to be the things that help you understand yourself when nobody else is around. And that's going to help us lead into our next point, where when we're understanding our ikigai, our values, morals, and beliefs, now we're starting to create who we truly are. We're starting to understand ourselves on this different level. And the next stage in this is really understanding what you're passionate about. And what you're passionate about can really help you understand what brings you joy and fulfillment in your life. And when you can understand these things, now you can be a little bit more strategic about how you live your life so that you can be giving yourself that joy and fulfillment. And I know that if you haven't really explored, this area before, sometimes it's hard for us in the beginning to think like, what are those activities that bring me joy and fulfillment? And maybe what does joy and fulfillment even feel like to me? Like, I know that was something that I really struggled with when people were always like, oh, like, what are your passions? It was like, well, I actually don't really know all that. But what I want you to really think about, and this is something that completely changed everything for me, is what are the things that you love to do that make you forget to check your phone? What are the things that you love to do that you forget about time? What are the things that you love to do that you would spend an entire day off doing? Those are the things that are your passions. Those are the things that bring you joy and fulfillment. They help you get into a flow state. And when you're able to understand what brings you into that flow state of joy and fulfillment in your life, you're able to be strategic about planning your schedule so you can actually be giving yourself the things that truly matter to you. And that is extremely important for you to be creating fulfillment in your life and understanding who you are. Because if you can get clear on what those activities are, you can make sure that you're planning those activities and creating the time for them, not just hoping for them, creating the time for them in your schedule so you can really, have that happiness into your life, and really understand yourself on that deeper level. And so the 3 points that we've covered now are ikigai, understanding your values, morals, and beliefs, and then getting clear on what your passions are so you can identify what matters to you. And now what we want to be doing, since we're understanding ourselves and we're getting clear on like what makes us happy, who we really are, those cornerstones for us, and maybe how we can add value into the world, I want you to do something that maybe not a lot of people talk about when understanding your reason of being, and that is reflecting on your life experiences. Because there have been so many moments in your life that have defined who you truly are. And when I ask you this question right now, I want you to take a second. When I'm talking to you right now, I want you to think about this. What was one of the key defining moments in your life that made you who you were today? I guarantee you just thought of something. And so there's probably a few things that we have within our experience in our life that have really shaped who we were today. And what I want you to do is go back into your experiences and think about what were some of those good times and what were some of those bad times. Because there's this quote that I have no idea who said this quote, but it was amazing. And what they said was, life is meant to be lived forwards, but it can only be understood backwards. And so what that truly means is when we're thinking about our lives, we want to be moving forwards. We want to be living forwards, but we can look back in our lives to understand things and learn from them to give us better guidance moving forwards. It doesn't mean look back and dwell on things and beat yourself up for things that you did. It means learn from those experiences so you can create a better future for yourself moving forwards. And when you look back, when you're thinking about yourself and reflecting on your life experiences, this is really going to help you understand who you truly want to be and who you truly don't want to be. Because there's times in your life where you've handled things in an amazing way, where you've done the right thing, where you've done the thing that aligns with who you truly are and you felt good about it. But there's probably a bunch of times too where you did the wrong thing and you knew you were doing the wrong thing. And that feeling came over you. Your intuition was telling you that's not the way that you should be living your life. Or maybe though you saw somebody else doing something and you saw that's not the way that I want to be doing that. And so when you're talking about your reason of being, you have so many experiences that have helped shape you into who you are today. And reflecting on those experiences is really going to help you understand yourself on a deeper level so you can continue to move forwards and use those experiences to your advantage. And so we have the ikigai that we've covered now, your values, morals, and beliefs, finding your passions, reflecting on your life experiences, and we're tying it all together with point number 5, which is setting meaningful goals. So now that you've really started to understand yourself on this deeper level, if you've been going through each question with me, setting meaningful goals for yourself is going to be where you find this purpose, where you find that inner drive to do things each day. And so I want to ask you these questions. What goals do you want to accomplish in your life? What impact do you want to create? What is the legacy that you want to leave behind? And when you set these meaningful goals for yourself, this is what gives you that sense of purpose now. That's what your reason of being is having that sense of purpose so that you can show up to the world and create an impact in your own unique way. And when you go through those first 4 points, those 4 steps that we went through before, now you're starting to think about your goals in a meaningful way. Because what tends to happen is we set goals that don't actually matter to us. Maybe they're what other people think success is, or maybe we're doing it from our ego. And when you follow this practice, you're going to be setting meaningful goals from your true self. And when you set those meaningful goals from your true self, they actually have value in your life and you're going to show up and do the things. And so what I want you to do is write out what those goals are. Think about the timeline for yourself, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, you can set the timeline. And I want you to write out a few goals for yourself. And under each goal, I want you to ask yourself, why? Why is that a goal that I have for myself? And when you set a goal and you can tell yourself why, you will build an emotional connection to it. And when you build an emotional connection to it, that is where you start to show up and do things because you know why you're doing them. That is how you take aligned action in your life and you start to show up in your life with a sense of purpose each day. That is how you're going to start to find your reason of being in life. If you follow these 5 steps and then set those meaningful goals and attach the why behind it, that is when things really start to change for you. And you start to live with this different energy that you show up into the world with. People start to see that you're happy with yourself. You actually know who you are. You're starting to actually do things that matter to you. You're starting to do things that have value to you. And you're starting to create who you truly are. And you've always been this person. But maybe we've just never given ourselves the time or the energy to dive inwards for our answers because we're so caught up in looking outwards for them. And that is something that really changed my life, was I was always looking outwards for all of my answers, for finding my reason of being, for finding what other people are doing, and if I'm like this person, or how do I align with that? But what we really need to do is bring the question inward, because all of the answers are within you. And sometimes it just takes some searching for to find them. And so those are the 5 steps that are going to help you find your reason for being in life. They were ikigai, discovering ikigai, that reason of being, those 4 questions that I asked. What does the world need? What can you be paid for? What do you love? And what are you good at? The next one was understanding your values, morals, and beliefs. Step number 3 was identifying what your passions are. Step 4 is reflecting on your life experiences so that you can learn from the good and the bad and use that to create a better future for yourself. And step number 5 that ties it all together is setting meaningful goals for yourself with a why behind it, because that's what's going to bring you that purpose in your life and that meaning behind why you're doing what you're doing. And so if you're still with me right now, I am extremely grateful for you for sticking around. I hope that gives you some value and gave you some things to be thinking about. I appreciate you. If you resonated with today's episode in any sort of way, if this got any value into your life for you, please share this with your friends and family. Share it on your social media. Tag me at David Jaquetta, because that's going to be the way that we grow this thing organically. I hope that these things help you find your purpose and your reason of being in life, because I know that you're here to do something special. You're here to create a unique impact in the world, and it starts right here, right now. You got this.